Hey everybody, welcome back. Hope you had a good day today. It was a good day for me. Just kind of chilled Labor Day. Do a whole lot of nothing. Went out for coffee with my friend. Um, Went to Shoppers. Had to get a couple things. The only thing open today is the pharmacy, so it was busy. Other than the corner stores, but I didn't go near them. They're always busy. Oh, wow, oh no. Um, so yeah. This might be a long video. I wanted to talk about how many I got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, I guess. 10 oud fragrances that I think are. Oud can be very challenging to wear. We all know that. Everybody. I mean, you got a lot of. Oud can be funky, really funky. I've smelled real oud, and it is not the nicest thing in the world. But mixed with certain things and using the right amounts and blah, blah, blah. I'm no chemist or scientist or perfumer or anything like that. I just know what I know what I like. And these are 10 oud fragrances I think that you can start out with. And I'm going to list them in the order my nose. I don't want to say least offensive, but because none of them are really offensive. Um, just uh, I'm going to list them in a way that I'm going to start with what I'd say is the lightest oud, the easiest to wear fragrance to the hardest to wear fragrance. But that being said, these are 10, with the exception of the last two, they might be a little challenging, but these are really good ouds for people just getting into it, starting their first oud scent. They want to try oud. As a matter of fact, the first couple barely have any oud in them at all. It's there, but it's not a main player. And they're really good to start with because you can still smell the oud. You'll smell it for the first time if you've never smelled oud before. But like, what's that? That's different, even in these ones. Um, so anyway, yeah, that's the video. Let's get started. Number 10, probably the easiest to wear of the ouds that I own, tried, blah blah blah, is Calvin Klein Encounter. Uh, you do pick up the oud when you first spray this on, though. I don't want to give the feeling that this is an oudy scent. It's not. Um, it's got that oud in the background, like I said, when you first spray it on. If you've never smelled oud before, you're gonna be like, "What's that? I don't know what that is. That's different." And you're gonna like it on this one because it's softened out and everything. This is more of a boozy, slightly boozy, or not slightly, very boozy, slightly sweet, woody scent. The oud is in the background, giving it a little umph. You can smell it pretty much right from the start. You can smell it, but it really picks up in this one about a couple hours into the mid, and the oud really starts to. You can smell it. It starts to push up a little more on the woods and the alcohol. But this is not an oud scent, okay? It's just it's got a nice soft oud wood in the background, and it'll give you a nice introduction to oud. The next one is a little bit of stronger oud in it, but still not an oudy scent. Kind of the same thing. It's just giving a little bit of je ne sais quoi. What is that to the scent? And pushing up the woods a lot. And that's Juicy Couture Dirty English. Slightly spicy, very woody, and that oud again in the background, kind of giving it a bit of a. What's that? The next one is, believe it or not, Windsor by English Laundry. At its heart, this is a sweet tobacco scent, but it does have some woods in it. And one of the woods, and you can smell it, especially a few hours in, is the oud wood. It has that. It's a little stronger than these two, but it's still not an oudy scent. You're getting deeper into the woods of oud, but you're not quite into the woods yet. But it'll definitely give you if you like sweet tobacco, pipe tobacco with a little bit of smoke, assuming Guyak wood and Agarwood oud, this will definitely do you a trick, and without being overwhelming oudy. Now we're starting to get into fragrances that have they're not overly oudy, but they definitely have oud, and oud is a main player in a lot of them. Right now we have Quad by Latafa. Uh, More of a soft, sweet, powdery floral scent with oud as a background. Um, it's definitely there. You can smell it. It's a nice oud. It's that slightly smoky oud, uh, soft oud, but it is oudy. It has oud in it, and it's a step up from Windsor. Each one of these are a step up, in to my nose, in the oud factor. Next is another Latafa. Most of them are Latafas because that's where most of my ouds come from. Um, Actually, I think the rest are Latafa. Most of them, yeah. Bad Al Oud, Latafa, Oud for Glory. Uh, Oud for Greatness, clone. I guess a really good one, not sure. Again, not quite as sweet as this one, or as soft, or powdery. The oud stands out a little more, but it's still not an overpowering oud. You're starting to get a little more of it than the last one, but not by much. And this is a very nice scent, by the way. Nice soft sweetness again, some florals. So yeah, very nice scent. Um, Next is the one I just had a day with the other day, and that's Oud Mood. You're starting to get into oud as a more dominant note with this one, but again, it's not that funky oud. It's not that medicinal oud. It's not that sharp in your face oud. It's war. It's This one is well tamed down with a good dose of vanilla, caramel, creamy kind of sweetness to it with some more woods. But you're starting to get into the territory where you might not like it if you're not a fan of oud. I should say not a fan of oud. If oud just isn't your thing, you're starting to get into that territory where something like this might be a little. It's a good starting point, actually, really, because it'll give you a good dose of oud with a slight funk, Um, so you'll know what you're in for if you go a little oudier, which we're getting to right now with Amir Al Oud, Intense Oud. Uh, I get a good dose of oud off of this. It's definitely a by the fireplace, uh, inspired by the fireplace. But where by the fireplace uses more of like a smoky gaiac, woody kind of thing. This uses more of a incensey oud for the smoke. Um, I get oud in this a lot. Some people don't actually. It's weird. Some people just pick up the woods, but on me, this is when I wear it, when I smell it, when I smell it on people, it is oud heavy. Um, Again, but not in the way that it's going to put a lot of people off because it's still sweet and caramelly and vanilla-y and woody and slightly spicy, but that smoky oud is definitely prominent in this one. So next is this one. I've worn it a couple times. Monarch Red Tobacco. Or I wore it once and tested it a couple times. Again, more similarity to this than the rest of them because of that tobacco. Whereas this would be more of a pipe tobacco, like almost a cherry-like pipe tobacco. This is more of a sweet cigar tobacco. You know the difference, to my nose. But in the mid to the dry down, this has a pretty prominent oud note, and it's starting to get medicinal. Not quite there yet, but it's starting to. It's starting to get a little funky on me. For my personal taste, some people will be, oh, it's perfectly fine, and that's great. That's the thing about stuff like this. This is just a personal taste recommendation for people. So don't nail me to the cross and all that crap. But yeah, this is definitely a good scent. I'm glad I picked it up, especially for price. I think this one was a $16.99 one, if I can't remember right, or $20. So not bad at all, really. Yeah. So next one is where I find oud starts to get a little too much for me, my personal taste. There's some sweetness in the scent, but it's mostly For those of you who don't know, again, this is that type of video, I guess. Oud, people like, perfumers like to throw oud and rose and saffron together like crazy. Um, and I don't generally like that more oudy floral vibe. I kind of like more soft oud with some woods and something sweet. As you can tell, most of these have a sweet aspect to it. Even this, like I said, it's got that sweet, boozy rum vibe to it. You know, sweet tobacco, whatever. I kind of like them more with a sweet and not so prominent. And these ones are pretty prominent to my nose and not a lot of sweetness. There is sweetness in there, but and some people these two say very sweet, like the next one coming up. Well, let's just get into it. It's again Beala Oud Latafa Amethyst. A powerful scent, a scent that does not smell cheap, and this was $30, $34, whatever. It doesn't smell like none of these smell cheap, but like there's I get when I wear this, I get whiffs and wafts sometimes of it. It's like, oh my god, it smells like something my grandmother would wear, an '80s woman, old lady's perfume. And then there's other times I get whiffs and wafts. It's this slightly sweet, rosy, woody vibe. So it's really going to depend on your chemistry, what you're picking up, what you key in on. But most of the time, I key in on the rose, saffron, and oud. Definitely rose and oud. I don't even know if this has saffron in it, but definitely rose and oud and some other floral. Because you pick up the rose in this, and some people say it's a sticky, sweet rose. I don't get that. Um, it's got a little bit of sweetness to it, but it's mostly just that floral rose. It's a rose. You smell a flower is what I get from this. Not no sticky sweetness. Just whatever the flower has. You know, that slightly sweet, mostly powdery, almost feminine quality rose. Uh, but not bad. I'm not trashing. It's just the oud in it is a little too heavy for me. Um, and it's if they had something like a vanilla in there, I probably would like it better. But as of right now, it's giving that it is really starting to give that medicinal, funky, not quite stank. None of these are stank oud, but it's starting to get that funkiness. That starting to smell a little like rotten wood to me, you know, or feet, I guess would be one. And this is the last one. This one is it's a weird one on me because I do like it. I love aspects of it. It's got cinnamon and nutmeg, and I love when I pick whiffs of that up. Um, it's got another slightly sweet kind of vibe. It's not a sweet scent, but it is slightly sweet with a good dose of cinnamon and nutmeg. Um, but it also has a very like this is the most oudy out of all of these to my nose. It's got a very medicinal oud, borderline funk with I think it's jasmine, some kind of floral that just doesn't work together with that's funky oud. Um, and it just smells off, especially the first hour and a half. It smells very off when those two are the main players. But then the cinnamon and nutmeg start to come up a little bit, and a little bit more of the sweetness comes out, and the oud does kind of dial itself back a bit, calms itself down from being sharp and loud and kind of gross. um, but this is one after you've tried more than the majority of these ones that you might I want to try. See, I really like these ones. I want to try something a little more traditional Middle Eastern with spices and woods and oud and florals. So this is the one to try if you really want to try a more traditional Middle Eastern kind of scent. But I would not recommend blind buying any of these if you've never smelled oud, except for maybe the first three. They're okay. There's not really a lot of oud in them. It's just more giving it a bit of like I said, I shouldn't say qua. Like, ooh, what is that? But after that, the next seven, I would smell unless you get them cheap. Like I said, most of these are Latafas and they're $30. So even if you don't like it, you're not out a whole lot of money. So yeah. Out of all these, I know somebody's going to ask me which one's my favorite. Um, Straight up favorite is going to be Windsor, but I know that's going to bug some people because, like I said, it's not an oud scent like the rest of them. So my favorite, I guess, out of all these would probably be the Oud Mood. I really do like this scent. It's got just the right amount of spice, right amount of oud, right amount of sweetness. Like I said, it's a good starting point for a lot of people because you're gonna really smell oud and know what it smells like, and then you're gonna be able to decide whether you like it or not. I think it's a really good scent. It'd be my favorite of them all if you took Windsor out. My least favorite, believe it or not, would probably be the Amethyst. And I know a lot of people are going to hate me. No, it's great. It's Atomic Rose clone, this and that. It's all good. Juicy, sweet, syrupy rose. I don't get that. I do get a sweetness, a berry sweetness off the top, like a black currant type vibe. But yeah, no, it's just not for me. Hold on a second, 1 second. All right, this is 777-222 Generations by somebody, I forget who. Uh, this is an expensive niche oud fragrance. This little 50 ml bottle was like 250 bucks. I can't remember now. That was a few years ago. And this has that kind of similar berry note on the top like this, but it's even more oudy than this and more floral, not a whole lot of sweetness. You can smell the difference in quality, but it's not like I said, $250, 40 bucks, 30 bucks, 20 bucks. I mean, there's a difference in quality. This smells a little smoother, of course, and a little more refined, but it's not $200 and $230 more. And this is a good scent if you like oud, but I'll never wear it again. It's just not my style. But I just wanted to give you what an expensive oud would smell like. It smells, to my nose, worse than these. It's just too oudy to me. That they use a little too much oud. So yeah. Anyway, guys, that's it. So that's a dummy's guide to oud. That's what I'll call this one. Because I am not an oud enthusiast by any stretch of the word. When I say this has got too much oud for me, people who love oud or cologne fraghead guys will be like, that's ridiculous and blah blah blah. You just don't understand the intricacies and the fine art that is working with oud. Maybe I don't. I know what I like, and I don't like funky ass oud. Never have, never will. This is about as funky as I'm gonna get with oud. So if that's not funky enough for you, sorry. But this is for people who really don't know a whole lot about oud and just want to give it a try. I'd recommend, it's cheap right now. I think it's $20 American on Fragbuy. It's like 24 something Canadian for Oud Mood. I'd recommend starting with that one. It's like I said, it's the perfect starter oud for me, I'd say, for most people, because it gives you enough oud that you're going to know what you're getting into without being overwhelmed by it. So yeah, this has been top 10 oud for dummies buying guide. All right, guys. Peace, love, be good to each other, and be good to yourselves.